Hi, my name is Denny Stans. Thanks for checking in with me today. I created this website because I'm starting a whole new chapter in my life. At age 66, I've become a first-time author. I have published a book called Food Stories. And what Food Stories is about, it contains a whole bunch of little stories about social situations that I've encountered over the last 25, 30 years of my life. But what's unique about these situations is that each one of them led me to preparing a meal. Not for myself, but for somebody else. I had never done this in my life before. And how this really started was when I became a single dad. I had a 7-year-old little girl. I was responsible for her, and of course I wanted her to eat well. But I didn't know anything about cooking. So what I did was I started getting recipes from my mom. I got recipes from my grandmother. I started experimenting with them, got recipes from other people, and it just grew from there. But what I finally realized after all these years is that there are millions of men out there just like me. Men who experience situations very similar to the ones that I describe in the book. The only difference is that I'm telling them the actual experiences that I had and how I handled it. So let me talk to you guys out there for just a minute. You know, my circumstances were that I was a single dad. I had a little girl. Now, your circumstances might be different. You might be married, you might be single, you might be widowed, you might be divorced, you might be young, you might be old. You know, it really doesn't matter. And here's why. Because every single one of you is going to find at least one story in my book that's going to make you smile. Why? Because as you're reading it, you're going to realize that you've experienced somewhere along the way a very similar situation to the one that I'm talking about. The only difference is I'm describing it for you here, and I'm telling you what I did, how I handled it, and the meal that I cooked. So the neat thing about the book, and the fun thing about the book, is that you'll be able to compare what I did in my situation to any circumstance that you might pop up in the future. So my vision is that you'll have my book sitting right here in your kitchen at home. And whenever a situation pops up in the future, you're going to run over to the book and you're going to say, hey, let's see what Denny did. And then you're going to figure out what to do in your own situation and compare it to mine. So what I'm really hoping for is that some of you will drop me a line and say, hey, Denny, this is the circumstance that I had and this is how I handled it. Listen, Food Stories is a simple book. It was written for guys. It's not overwhelming. You don't have to be intimidated by cooking. It's a fun book, simple, basic, and it's been joyful for me to bring it to you. Now, let me talk to you ladies out there for just a little bit. You probably have a man in your life who could use a little bit of help in this area. Maybe it's your husband. Maybe every once in a while you go out of town and he's alone with the kids for a day or two. Well, you don't want him taking the kids out to get fast food. You'd like him to be able to prepare some real simple, healthy meals for your children. Food Stories will show them how to do that. Or maybe you have an adult son of yours, or your dad, or your granddad. Somebody who's eaten too much junk food, just doesn't have good eating habits, and needs some direction and guidance. Well, you're the woman to give them the direction and guidance. So look, right here while you're at my site, you can download a free chapter. It'll give you an idea of the fun things that I'm talking about. And then you'll see, just go check it out for yourself. It's real fun, real simple. Guys are going to have fun with this. You know, when I was done writing my book, I went to the printer. I called my editor and I said, hey, you know, I'd really like to know, why did you guys decide to take a chance on me? I'd never published a book before, so of all the manuscripts that come to you, why did you choose me? And she said, you know, Denny, there's thousands and thousands of cookbooks out there, but yours is different and it's unique. And what's different about it is that you're not just giving recipes, you're telling these little stories that make it fun and humorous and easy for guys. And secondly, you've written it for men, especially guys who don't know anything about cooking. It's a real fun, simple way for them to get started. So look, I'm glad you came in with me here today. Check out the free chapter. Enjoy reading the book, and most importantly of all, start applying some of these things in your own life. And hey, listen, thanks for tuning in. Drop me a line and tell me about your own food story.